Retired travel agent's decomposing body found in St. Andrew home. The decomposing body of a senior citizen was found inside her home in the St. Andrew Central Police Division on Friday. The deceased is 83-year-old Jeanette York Oak, a retired travel agent of Hope Boulevard, Kingston 6. It's reported that the police were summoned to the house about 5 p.m. and upon their arrival, they discovered her body inside. The body was removed for post-mortem examination. The Matilda's Corner police are investigating. Skeletal remains found in Portmore believed to be that of UTEC student. Police say skeletal remains found at a beach in Portmore, St. Catherine on Saturday are believed to be that of University of Technology student Anissa Dilworth, who was reported missing on Wednesday, May 7. According to the St. Catherine South Police, about 11:30 a.m. on Saturday, they were alerted to the discovery of skeletal remains at the beach and went to investigate. While formal identification is pending forensic analysis, investigators believe the remains belong to Dilworth based on the evidence based at the scene, the cops noted. The commanding officer for St. Catherine South, Superintendent Leighton Gray, had earlier told reporters that he could not confirm that the body the police found was that of Dilworth and that the body, which he said was small in stature, was unlikely to be that of a missing student. The investigation into the circumstances surrounding Dilworth's disappearance and the discovery of the remains is ongoing. Detectives are currently pursuing several leads, the police noted. An in-drive taxi operator has been detained and is being questioned in connection with the student's disappearance. The JCF is urging anyone with information that could assist in the investigation to contact Crime Investigations Branch at 876-929-9256, Crime Stop at 311, the National Intelligence Bureau at 811, or the nearest police station. Opposition spokesman on health Dr. Alfred Dawes described assault on female nurse as act of savagery. Opposition spokesperson on health Dr. Alfred Dawes has described the assault of a female nurse as an act of savagery. The incident has sparked nationwide outrage after a video went viral on social media. Mr. Dawes lamented that the nurse could have lost her life. Dr. Dawes lauded the police for their swift action. He expressed solidarity with nurses and healthcare workers generally, who have long called for protection amid growing threats of violence.
I am lending my voice to the chorus of outraged Jamaicans who are condemning the vicious assault of a female nurse in a road rage incident. This brutal attack, caught on video, showed the nurse being violently knocked to the ground and stomped on while on her way to work. The attacker has notably since been taken into custody. This incident is really a chilling reminder of the lawlessness and growing disregard for human life that continues to erode public safety. This wasn't just an act of violence, it was an act of savagery. That nurse could have easily lost her life or ended up with permanent injuries. We cannot treat these incidents as just another headline. We must confront this culture of violence head on, especially when it affects our women and children. I am welcoming the swift response from the police in apprehending the suspects. I also acknowledge the Firearm Licensing Authorities, the FLA, for promptly launching an investigation into the reported use of a licensed firearm during the incident. The FLA's investigation is critical. Firearm holders must be held to the highest standard, and any abuse of that privilege must be met with serious consequences. I am expressing solidarity with the Jamaica Nurses Association and the entire healthcare community, many of whom have been calling for greater protection amid growing threats of violence both inside and outside the workplace. We stand with our nurses. We stand with our women. Healthcare workers should never, ever have to fear for their lives simply trying to get to work. This is not the Jamaica we want, and we must not become numb to these horrors. I am reaffirming my commitment to advocating for the safety, dignity, and welfare of all healthcare workers, and justice must not only be done, but must also be seen to be done.
Teen windshield wipers don't want to hustle forever. Just before midday on Thursday, when children across the island are expected to engage in activities at school, three teenage boys stood at a traffic light in Kingston with G's and soapy water in hand, waiting to wipe the windscreen of the next motorist for a loose chance. Child labor has been a long-standing issue in Jamaica, with multiple studies exploring its root cause and recommending solutions. According to the 2016 Jamaica National Youth Activity Survey, focused explicitly on child labor, 37,965 children aged 5 to 17 years were engaged in child labor. The survey further noted that of the children engaged in child labor, 26,053 were involved in hazardous ways that compromised their health and safety, while 11,912 engaged in child labor other than hazardous work. When reporters saw the teen approach the boys on the street in Kingston during school hours, two of them ran across the street, glancing over their shoulder multiple times, seemingly checking to see if they were being chased. Only the reassuring words from a nearby tamarind vendor could stop the apparent retreat, and the police, the vendor shouted. From a distance, the boys watched the reporter team, cautious before slowly making their way back to a giant tree growing from a medium strip, which shielded them from the blazing sun. When asked about their ages, they hung their heads low, waiting a while before answering. 17 years old, one of them said. 16-year-old, another said, but his childlike facial features and petite feature indicated otherwise. The third boy remained silent before wandering off to the side of the road and away from the reporters. However, the 17-year-old was more than willing to share his story about how he ended up on the street, wiping windshields. I dropped out of school in grade 7 and I never did anything much, he noted, adding that he was expelled from his high school after multiple fights with his schoolmates who would constantly try to steal his money and bully him relentlessly. When his mother's quest is to get him enrolled to another school became difficult, he found himself at home playing video games as he watched the years pass. My mother carried me to Hill Celeste High School to get me in the school, but I told her it didn't make any sense to send me to that school because if I'm not going to my old school, I get expelled so fast and I'm going to go to another school where a lot of my friends are. It doesn't make any sense, said the 17-year-old. I am going to go out there and do bare foolishness. So I just said, me nah bother go. I told my mother and she worked with that. I was saying because I wasn't lying. I would go out there and see almost everybody from my community, and me and them would lick head and do a lot of foolishness. So I just told her I'm not going to the school. He reasoned. He pointed out that he's from a violent-prone era, and his mother was already struggling to put him through school, as well as take care of his siblings. So it was a sacrifice that, at the time, made sense. He said when he was 16 years old, one of his friends asked him if he had ever thought about wiping windscreens at the traffic light. His friend told him that he made decent money wiping windscreens, and the 17-year-old decided to give it a shot. The teen told reporters that the police have made multiple attempts to get him and his friends off the street, but they kept going back to the traffic light because they need the money to take care of themselves and help their family. You have some people out here who disrespect us, and sometimes, me not tell a lie, we couldn't hold it back and we have to disrespect them more time. But if they don't say certain things to us, where we're not going to harass them, I don't disrespect people at the light. I just hustle my money and go to my yard, he explained. As the youngster reflected on his experience on the street, his eyes slowly filled with tears that quickly blinked back. He stood fiddling with his hand, the evidence of years of hard work visible each on them, before sharing that he wished things were different and that he did not have to miss out on high school experience. While he cannot change the past, the 17-year-old is positive he can create a better future. He shared that he has plans to apply to the Human Employment and Resource Training National Service Training Agency Heart NSTA Thrust program to study to become a mechanic or electrician. He is now waiting his TRN, which is the final document needed to complete his application. I want to have my own car or bike and fix it. If my light can go, I want to be able to fix it and be able to do much more. I want to be able to take care of myself, the youngster said, adding that he also hopes to one day become a professional footballer. The 16-year-old windscreen wiper was more timid as he shared his story. Also introduced to windscreen wiping by a friend who told him that it is a lucrative side hustle The younger teen hits the street on days he is not at school. Though skeptical about sharing the details of his journey, he disclosed that he cannot afford to attend classes every day. I'm not going to school today, last week Thursday, but I'm going to go next week on Monday. I didn't have any money to go this week, so I'll go next week. I have to make the money first, he told reporters. While he has no idea what his future holds, the 16-year-old said he hopes he'll not have to spend the rest of his life hustling. To subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.